Today I was just hoping to learn a little bit about Ashley. I heard is she a year older than you?
Yeah, so she's a year older than me. Yeah.
Okay. So,
So, yeah, she was my best friend, especially I'm sure you know, moving around in the military and stuff, it was very like unstable all the time and
yeah.
with moving around so much, making friends and losing friends. So her and I were like this through all of that, just like each other's rocks and like our constants. We were besties for sure.
Yeah.
Even when we grew up a little bit more and I became like a little bit more of like the extroverted, like kind of that typical like extroverted younger sibling that like just wants attention, and then she was like the older sibling. We called her Eeyore because she was just like slow moving and la,
Yeah.
la. She was so funny. She was the type of kid that would like talk to the trees and like the squirrels.
Yeah.
Like she was so goofy like that. But yeah, she was my bestie. She was very, very artistic.
And so
She had
this was like an art show for her?
Yes, yeah. So after she passed away, I think it was a couple years after she passed away. I think I was a sophomore in college or a freshman in college. Um, and so she passed away in my senior year of high school.
Oh my God.
And so one of those first couple years of college, they had an art show for her.
Yeah.
And yeah, all of her pieces of artwork were like on display, and people came and some people bought some. There on her website, there are some pieces for sale. I don't know if they're the original pieces or just like prints of her pieces, because I know we like to keep a lot of her original
Yeah.
stuff,
Of
obviously. But
course.
yeah, her art was very, very, she had her own style in like
Yeah.
everything, in like her paintings, and then also just like in her personal style, like her makeup and her clothes.
I like
Um,
her little pixie cut.
yeah, yeah. She had her own style. And even if like I was a bratty younger sister, right? So I was like, if you
Same.
do that, I have to do this. If you wear that top, you have to do this. And she was just like, no. Like stop talking to me. Like I got my own thing going. So she was very much like go to the beat of your own drum kind of gal.
Yeah.
So
And she was a like her page said she was super into nature as well.
yeah, yeah. She loved all like the weird little
Like
critters. Not a lot of other people, like millipedes. Like she had a bunch of snails and she named them all. Yeah,
I don't judge, it's fine.
yeah. She loved fish. She was really into like getting all like little. She would order fish online from like sketchy websites and have them like shipped
Really
internationally.
cool fish.
They were cool fit. Half the time they were dead by the time they arrived, and then half the time, they somehow survived that trek. But yeah, she was interesting. She was very individualistic. Loved a lot of like noticed a lot of things about the world that other people wouldn't typically notice or appreciate. I think she truly lived in her own reality. I
Yeah,
don't even think she was like a part of our world most of the time. She was really just in her own. So
yeah.
yeah,
So
she's
everything, I know that she had a little bit of like trauma before she passed. Like, how was that I guess all through high school, just like having to be supportive of her and
yeah, yeah. So that was really tough. I was still young, and mental health advocacy, at least in my experience, was still like very low. I didn't really
yeah,
know when I heard the term like mental health, like I had no idea how like your brain could kind of be
yeah,
like that. So I didn't know what to do. And my parents were really good about kind of shielding me from what was going on, because that can be traumatic for a younger sibling. If
yeah,
I knew she was I knew because she had attempted a couple of times before she died. Um and so I knew that, but I didn't know like the details. And so I struggled with just feeling very like angry with her, which gives me a lot of like guilt to say, but also like I was so young and I didn't know
yeah.
what mental health really was
Was
all about. So I was very confused. I was really angry. It was really hard for me to support her when you know, it's hard to understand mental health when you haven't gone through it yourself.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
to say or do. So I would, if she was ever in the mental hospital, I would like send her like, I sent her one of our favorite books one time. I remember that. And I remember a distinct time a little before she passed away, after she'd been dealing with this depression for a couple of years. um, I remember she was sitting in her room and I just happened to walk in and she just broke down on her bed crying to me. She just kept saying like, I just want to hurt myself and I don't know why. And I don't like, I know in my head I don't want to, but I just have the strongest urge to like hurt myself.
Yeah.
So all I could do was just like sit there with her and love her through it and
Because
ask
you
if,
were what, like 16 during that, 17?
yeah, this at this point, yeah, I was probably 16 or 17. Still didn't quite know what to do, but all I could do is just sit there. And I think that's honestly the best thing that you can do for someone who's struggling with mental health that badly is just like be there with them and make sure that they know that they're not alone. Um, because it's not like you can sit there and like zap your
Yeah, be
fingers.
like, hey, like, let's
Like
just put a
you're
Band-Aid
fine
and
now. Yeah,
yeah.
so I think that's all you can do, and I think that's what's so great about the platform that you're building is just like you're not alone. Like we see you, we're here with you, even in times that you like people feel so isolated and like the world is this big. Like no one's ever truly alone, you know, and
Yeah.
it's really hard to forget, or it's really easy to forget that when you're in that place, though. So
I think a lot of people, that's kind of wanted to like start the conversation is it's like so many people are like very uncomfortable
mhm,
talking about depression.
yeah,
They don't know how to like be there for others and they're like, well, I don't know how to support it, so I'm just gonna hope somebody else does.
yeah,
And then it's too late.
yeah,
It's like, oh well, I wish I would have known. But
hmm,
I was the same boat where it's like I was 16 when my friend passed.
hmm,
Looking back now, I'm like, there were so many red flags. But when you're in high school, it's like, how are you supposed to know?
yeah, yeah. And I think like that's why I'm going into the mental health field.
Are you
Um,
really?
yeah, starting in August, I'll be getting my master's in clinical mental health counseling. So,
Oh my
yay.
God.
But I think it's so important to eliminate this stigma around mental health because not only for people who are suicidal and like get to that point and then they're trying to seek help when they're and that's when your motivation is so low and people like are so freaked out they don't know what to do with you. But like even before we get to that point when our brain is just feeling a little icky and like something's not quite right, like eliminating that mental health stigma will make people go in just like people going to the doctor when they're not feeling completely, you know,
Yeah.
normal. I think yeah, that stigma just needs to be eliminated so that people can get help before they get to that point, before it's too late.
Yeah. And it's like it's funny because it was like after my friend, I'm like, I've never been to therapy.
Mhm.
And so I'm not that much older, so I'm only 25. So last year for my like 25th birthday, like I got myself therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how come I waited
Yeah.
years to finally
Yeah.
like acknowledge everything that's happened? And then I'm like,
Yeah.
why did it take so long? Like, why
Yeah.
is it? I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's awesome. Like you walk out feeling so good and clear
Yeah.
and I like even today I've been going to therapy since my sister passed away, which is about 4 years now.
Yeah.
A little she passed away March 15th, so it's a yeah, 4 years and 10 days today. So I've been going to therapy for quite a while now, and even like every time before I go in, I get like stressed. I'm like, oh, I have to talk about my problems. I have to feel my emotions. Like it's so scary. And then I walk out. I'm like, why was I so stressed to do this? Like I feel great. I feel like I can run a marathon now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really the best thing ever. And I'm so excited to go into the field and like have like more of a voice. You know,
Yeah. And to show people that like, because I think, especially when I was 16, it's like, oh, nobody cares, like nobody cares about me or my problems or what I'm going through. And so it's like to just show people that like, hey, there are people who don't even have to know you,
yeah.
but like want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, and I know like there's also that like idea of like, oh, like my therapist only like cares because like they're getting paid to care, and it's like completely not true. I'm going to say like if not 100%, almost 100% of mental health professionals are in that job because they genuinely care about people. And like
Yeah.
if they like meet someone and make a connection with someone, like they care about helping you genuinely.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there any times like I guess the last 4 years that you've like really noticed Ashley missing or her presence, or I'm sure every day?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, totally, totally. Yeah, every day in little ways. Whenever I like the trees, you know, a breeze goes through them, I think of how Ashley used to like talk to the trees, or
You see like the little ladybug going up the
birds. I always think of her. At her memorial, we had like a little memorial video for her.
Yeah.
Um, and the song that played was Blackbird by Sarah McLachlan
Uh,
by the Beatles. And so every time I hear that song, obviously. But there have been a lot of also like much harder things,
yeah.
like going to college, because she was the older sibling. So like I kind of learned by observing her for my whole life.
Yeah.
So when I had to like go to college and do this thing like by myself, pretty much is what it felt like. I was like I was sad that she was gone, but I was also very angry. I was like, why
Yeah.
are you not here to like show me how to do this? And
Are you not here to be
like,
my big sister?
yeah, yeah. And like going through heartbreaks too. I was like, why are you not here for me to talk to you about this? Not that I don't have other people to talk to, but like no
That's
one
what you
can
want.
replace, yeah, no one can replace like your person, you know,
Yeah.
especially a sibling. Um, and then about a year ago, my parents got divorced too. So I was like, why are you not here to like, because
Be here with
now,
me
yeah,
through that.
yeah. And like now I'm pretty much like the only child here on earth, at least. And so I was like, I got to do this shit by myself. Like, really, Ashley? But yeah. And then thinking about the future, even too, like my wedding day, not being able to have her there.
She'll be there. I
Yeah,
know she'll be there.
yeah, yeah.
Not the form that you would prefer.
Yeah, yeah. And then taking my graduation pictures too, because I'm graduating my undergrad in May. Um, so I actually had a cool experience. I don't know how spiritual you are or how
You
spiritual.
gotta believe, and I'm like, it's so hard when you lose someone, is it's like you have to believe that there's something more.
Yeah, and I think like that's one of like the collateral beauty moments. I don't know if you've heard that term. It's a movie with Will Smith, Collateral Beauty. You know, when
Yeah.
a tragedy happens, there's collateral damage, which is like all like the grief and trauma that we feel. And then there's the collateral beauty, like the little stuff like in nature that I notice now that she's gone, or you know, the foundation that we started in her name. So that was one of these little collateral beauty moments, is like feeling her in ways that I've never felt her before. Like I've felt her hand on my shoulder
Uh,
after she passed away. I was taking my graduation pictures the other week, and I just randomly, I wasn't even thinking about her. I was just sitting on a rack, you know, doing a pose, and I felt her sit right by me and just let me know that she was proud of me. And I had my cousin caught, she was taking my picture. She got a picture of me, just like start sobbing. She was like,
uh,
what is happening? So yeah, that's one of those moments where, you know, I missed her a lot. And hold on, my Zoom just went crazy. But anyways, yeah, here, I fixed it. Okay, technology.
hey.
Um, yeah, so it's hard. I think milestones are always hard. Holidays are always hard. Where you just really feel the absence, aside from just like the everyday, them not being there. Yeah.
I think obviously there's so many hard parts, but for me, it's like your Blackbird hit home because for me, it was like music.
Hmm.
Um, so they played Somewhere Over the Rainbow at his funeral. And so it was like every time I hear that on the radio now, I'm like, please just like switch, switch, switch,
Yeah.
switch the song. That and then like our song, he used to like sneak up onto my roof
Uh-huh.
after like bad days in high school. And he would always like sing the song I Will Follow You Into the Dark by Death Cab for Cutie.
Oh.
Um, and like the hardest part is and I'm sure it's the same with you, is it's like you're having a good day, you're not even expecting it, and then like on the radio or on your like your phone, Spotify plays it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whether
You're
it
like,
was having a
really?
shitty day or, but I'm like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I know that he's still here with
Yeah.
me.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Um, I know you guys started Pedal It Forward.
Mhm.
So do you want to just talk a little bit? I know what's going on right now.
Yeah, so it just ended. We do it,
Oh,
well, we do what's called Flowers for Ash every February, and it includes
okay.
a couple of Pedal It Forward days, but yeah, you're right. There are schools right now that are participating in Pedal It Forward. So pretty much it's just we send flowers to the schools that want to participate, um, using our foundation funds, and then how they participate is they take two flowers or two bouquets of flowers, and they give them both to somebody else and say, like, here's just a little light in your day. You can pass
Yeah.
the other one on to someone else. So you're passing it on, and then they're also passing one on. And it's really awesome. We've had messages from students, and we try to tell them to give them to students that don't typically, get involved in things, don't get like special attention like that a lot, and like the smiles on their faces, is just like it's so priceless. I did it at my university, I think my freshman year, and
Yeah.
just like seeing like little like yellow carnations everywhere, it was just like it was so beautiful, and it warms your heart, and it really does. It makes people's days. Like whenever I get flowers, it's like
Yeah.
I can't even have a bad day anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And she was a florist, so that's kind of where it started. Like the idea of
Yeah.
incorporating flowers in her name. We attach little cards usually with her website and like different mental health resources. So in case like they're struggling, they like
You
here,
never know,
here,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
here's some resources in case you're struggling, or in case someone is struggling. So it just, yeah, it spreads a lot of goodness in the world, and it spreads her name too. I think that's really important is, even though she's not here, like I want to keep her alive.
Memory alive and yeah, and what
Yeah,
she stood for. And
yeah, absolutely.
that's so fun. I think last question I have for you is what's your like favorite memory of Ashley? There's
Oh,
probably
God,
so many.
there's so many. Let me think of one. Um, there was there was a time, we actually, my uncle told the story at her memorial, and it's weird to have people laughing at a memorial, but like
But yeah.
she was so goofy, and it was so easy to like laugh at her, not in a bad way, like we're like, you know, teasing her, but she was just like everything she did was just funny. So we were in Croatia. I was 12 and she was 13, and we were with my mom, and we were trying to get to this beach called the Copacabana, and my mom just thinks that she knows better than the maps, right?
Don't we all though?
Yeah, in this place that we've never been before. So we start going on this trail, and we kind of get off the trail, and we just end up on a cliff, just like scaling rocks. Like there's like this much to put our toes on. And so
You're
we're
like,
holding,
Mom, what are we doing?
like, there's about 5 feet above us, there's cars on like the actual road. And so there's like the ocean below us. And so it's not even, whenever we got in those situations, we got in a lot of weird situations as a family. And whenever we did, we just couldn't help but die laughing. It like we weren't even scared. Ashley like Ashley was a little more nervous than us. She's like, guys, what are we gonna do? And my mom and I just like are peeing our pants laughing. It was just the funniest thing. Like this image of these three girls like
Scaling a
like
cliff.
scaling the cliff with cars right up here that we could just go on this road, but nope, we're gonna choose this path. But yeah, we eventually got there. It just took like 3 hours
Wow.
instead of 10
Your dad
minutes.
was probably like, what the heck?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like probably like stupid Americans.
No, literally, we were stupid Americans. Everywhere we went, we were the stupid Americans.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate you talking about Ashley,
Yeah, no, thank
your
you so much.
time and opening up And I'm really excited to hear about, I guess, your graduating and then your graduate program.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to stay in touch. It was
Yes,
so lovely meeting you.
yes, of course. Okay.
Yeah. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks.